Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite roller coasters in Orlando. Which this is not including Busch Gardens Tampa or Legoland. This is just based off of Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, and Fun Spot. Sorry about that, but this is just based off the Orlando parks, and there's a ton of different roller coasters in Orlando. And there's a really good variety, so I've decided to put my top 10 down. There's some really good rides in here. Without further ado, let's get started. Coming at number 10 is Rocket Roller Coaster at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And I think this is a really awesome Vekoma roller coaster. Vekoma did a great job with this. First off, it is one of the smoothest Vekomas I have ridden. Even though, yes, I said in October I had a pretty rough ride on it, I still think it's one of the smoothest Vekomas. You get very minimal head banging, and plus, getting to listen to Aerosmith during the coaster is something truly to behold. And that first launch is just absolutely incredible. It's my second favorite launch, just behind Storm Runner at Hershey Park. It's not my favorite launch coaster out there, but this coaster will definitely always have a soft spot in my heart. This was the first launch coaster I ever did when I was 5 years old. Yes, I am dead serious. I rode it when I was 5 years old, and I still like it to this day. Definitely one of the best rides of Walt Disney World for sure. And it's just a coaster that you have to experience when you're at Walt Disney World. And coming at number 9 is going to Revenge of the Mummy at Universal Studios Florida. My personal favorite indoor roller coaster. This thing is so much fun. Like, literally, I just love all the effects. I love all the fire, mist, and just the whole story is awesome. I love how you start off as a dark ride, then it kind of just transitions into a roller coaster, like kind of gradually, but once you enter that launch into the darkness, the coaster just it's just incredible. It truly is just amazing. Plus, you can't beat some good old twists and turns in the dark. Hey, hey, and you get some really good ejector as well on this coaster. While the fake exit scene's a little bit cheesy, Revenge of the Mummy will always be my favorite indoor roller coaster. It's really going to be hard to beat this indoor roller coaster. Okay, let's move on to number 8, which is going to Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom. This is my personal favorite roller coaster at Walt Disney World. This thing is so much fun. While it is geared towards the families, this thing is still just a flat-out amazing attraction. It is more intense than you would expect, to be honest with you. Like, if you're in the back row, during that backwards section is actually pretty intense. You definitely feel the G-force when you're going backwards. And even going forwards, you do feel some decent G-force, which is pretty awesome. And the fact of just seeing this gargantuan mountain when you walk up to the coaster is truly something to behold. It's probably one of the most beautiful roller coasters I've ever seen. And this will always be a childhood classic for me as well. I first rode this coaster actually when it first operated in 2006. When I first rode it, and yes, I rode it when Yeti was still in A mode. Thank goodness I rode it when it was in A mode. And I gotta say, that thing is probably one of the scariest animatronics ever. I am dead serious. It was actually that aggressive. Like, if you had no idea about that, it will surprise the heck out of you. It's a really awesome moment, and I'm kind of upset that it's in B mode. Hopefully one day they'll fix the Disco Yeti. And I actually have a full video about the Disco Yeti on my channel, so I'll put the link down in the description if you guys want to watch that video. The quality isn't as good as what I'm using now, but it's still nice enough to understand what I'm saying. But all in all, Expedition Everest is definitely one of the best Vekomas and my personal favorite ride at Walt Disney World. And even like just the way it tells a story is just impressive, including the broken track, the Yeti. It's just amazing. This ride will definitely surprise you if you're a coaster enthusiast. It is definitely one you should definitely check out. Coming at my number 7 spot is going to White Lightning at Fun Spot America. This is the wooden coaster in the Orlando park. And this wooden coaster is definitely geared more towards the families, but this thing is so much fun. Like, those airtime hills are really aggressive. You get some fantastic ejector air on those hills, and plus it's insanely smooth for a wooden coaster. I know I said the last time I rode White Lightning, which was about a week ago. Okay, I'm playing here, but last time when I rode White Lightning like last week or about a week ago, I thought the coaster was a little bit rough, but I think it was just on a bad day. Usually this coaster is insanely smooth for a wooden coaster. I mean, it's a GCI after all, and those airtime hills are flawless. It's pretty intense as well for a wooden coaster. It's amazingly intense. This coaster is small, but it packs one heck of a punch, and you need to ride it when you're at Fun Spot in Orlando. I think coming up my number 6 spot might shock some people. This is Hollywood Ride Rockit. I know a lot of the GP absolutely love this thing, but most enthusiasts think it's okay. I think this coaster is pretty good. While it's not the most intense coaster out there, I still think this coaster has some amazing ejector airtime. This coaster definitely has its flaws. I mean, the track is kind of rough overall, and the mid-course brake runs suck. I know, yeah, the mid-course brake runs really just suck. It really kills the pacing on the coaster. But I mean, the ejector airtime you get on this thing is pretty fantastic, and that's why I like Ride Rockit. While it definitely could use a little bit of smoothing out, it definitely could use an updated soundtrack list. I think this coaster is still really good, and that vertical lift hill, I mean, that's gonna shock the GP. It's really gonna just intimidate them whenever they get to ride it. Like I'll admit for myself, when I was younger, that lift hill definitely intimidated me as well. But now it definitely does not intimidate me, because I've ridden more vertical lift hills than this. But I mean, that lift hill is a really awesome moment in this coaster. And while the drop could be a bit better, yes, they should definitely remove those trims. I'm not a fan of those trim brakes that Universal added to this coaster. They definitely, I don't get why they're even there. They don't even slow down the ride at all. You don't even feel them. Why are they there? It's pointless. But all in all, Rocket's a pretty good ride. Not my favorite coaster out there, but I think Ride Rockit is definitely a great ride. I will admit, the restraints are very comfortable, which is good. But yeah, Rockit, I think it's a fun ride. So let's move on to our top 5. And coming at number 5, literally one-upping Ride Rockit, is the incredible Hulk coaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure, which is next door to Universal Studios. And I just gotta say, what a fantastic B&M. This coaster has really just grown on me more and more each time I ride it. I really love this coaster. First off, that launch out of the tunnel is just one of the most epic coaster moments out there. Just going to that zero G roll is truly incredible, and those inversions are very forceful. I remember when I first rode it in 2016, or first rode the referred version. Yes, I've done the original version. I count it as one credit, by the way. But yeah, when I first rode the new version in 2016, I was very disappointed with the intensity. I thought it was kind of forceless. I actually thought Rocket was more intense than Hulk back then. However, ever since I've ridden Hulk more, it's just gotten so much more intense, and I definitely think it's way more intense than Rocket. But really, just one of the things that I really love about Hulk is that onboard audio. It's truly incredible, and also I really like just the zero G roll, and the mist tunnel is so sweet. The queue line is amazing. And just the whole plaza is epic. And the station is really beautiful too. This roller coaster is just something you really need to experience for yourself. It's kind of like an extreme rock and roller coaster, if I could say it like that. I know my family wouldn't agree with me. But all in all, Hulk is one fantastic B&M. And I feel like it's looked down upon in the enthusiast community. And if that's the case, then I feel like this would be considered to be an underrated roller coaster. It definitely does not get enough love that it used to get, and I feel like this coaster is still fantastic to this day. So let's move on to number 4. And P.S. Hulk is very smooth. Forgot to mention that. It's very, very smooth compared to what it was before. But yeah, let's move on to number 4, which will be going to Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. This is Florida's only flying coaster, and of the 4 flying coasters I've done, this is certainly my favorite one. Yes, well, it's in my home park and I've ridden it so many times. I still think it's my favorite flying coaster by a long shot. It really just makes you feel like you're flying, and it's just an awesome ride overall. Plus, that pretzel loop is one of the most intense coaster inversions you'll ever experience. In the back row, it literally feels like an elephant is sitting on your chest. I am dead serious. And literally, just the whole queue line is really impressive, just getting to look at those manta rays. It's really just something to behold. And literally, just the whole plaza is beautiful, and the way You fly and soar through these trees is awesome, and getting to fly through the rock work is really cool too. And it's very smooth. While the front row is not the most intense ride, that back row is really where it's at with Manta. The Manta does have a couple of dead spots. That's why it's not higher, but I love Manta. And that splash that you see coming into the park, that's just an awesome sight to see. Alright, coming at number 3, very unpopular opinion. Y'all are going to give me the hate for this, but I have put Kraken Unleashed at number 3. Yes, I do think Kraken is better than Manta. I don't get it why everyone thinks this thing is rough. I really think it's a smooth ride, guys. I'm sorry, I think Kraken is smooth. While it's definitely not the smoothest B&M, I would call it one of the roughest B&Ms. A rough B&M is still better than, let's say, a very smooth Aero Looper. But I really think Kraken Unleashed is just a fantastic B&M overall. Like I said with Manta, I feel like there's a couple of dead moments. Kraken literally has no dead moments at all. And that's why I prefer Kraken. While I do prefer a front row ride on Manta to a front row ride on Kraken, I still think Kraken is just still holds up to this day. And I'm actually also really happy that they removed the VR. I thought the VR was kind of a flop. I like the VR itself, but just the spot saver really sucked. But all in all, this coaster the inversions are forceful, the whole ride is just amazing. I love the subterranean dives and that tunnel from that little turnaround hill into the final course. I love that tunnel. That's a really great moment, and my favorite part of the ride has to go to that zero G roll. That zero G roll could honestly rival with Kumba's Hell roll. I am dead serious. And just the whole ride is just amazing, and I feel like it gets a lot of hate. I feel like it gets too much hate, and I feel like it's, again, like I said with Hulk, one of those underrated roller coasters. I think it's more underrated than Hulk, to be honest with you. I feel like people really do hate on Kraken, and if that's the case, then I'd like to ride some more floorless coasters, because I feel like this would be one of the best floorless coasters out there, and yeah, I'd like to ride some more floorless coasters like Bizarro, Dominator, yes, Rougarou, Scream, Medusa. I'd like to ride some more floorless coasters in the future. And coming at number 2 is going to be a bit of a shock to some people. This is Mindblower at Fun Spot Kissimmee. I would have this ranked at number 3 if I had not gotten the Fun Spot Season Pass, which I haven't really marathoned this coaster yet, but one day I'm going to try to marathon this coaster as many times as possible. And I feel like this coaster will just grow on me more and more and more. While I used to prefer Kraken, I just feel like the last time I rode Mindblower, I was so blown away. It was a night ride in the back row, and literally the airtime is just insane. The intensity is bonkers, and just literally those turns are crazy. That inversion is incredible, and the speed is incredible. You literally feel like you're just flying from start to finish. This coaster probably has some of the best pacing of any coaster anywhere. It's definitely up there with Kumba for pacing. And really, while the coaster is a bit rough, I feel like this is one of those roller coasters where the roughness adds to the experience. Yes, I've said it. I feel like the roughness of Mindblower adds to the experience. It just truly makes you feel like you're out of control. Now, the coaster isn't perfect. I mean, Mindblower, that's a stupid name. I'm honestly not a big fan of the whole name. They really, you're theming a coaster to explosives. It's a very cheesy theme too, but theming doesn't really determine how good a coaster is. In some cases, it can be that, like Harry Potter Escape from Gringotts, but Mindblower is not one of them. The reason why Mindblower is so good is just because of its intensity and airtime. It really has the full package, and it's actually not a short ride at all. While it's not the longest ride, it's not a short ride, and Mindblower is just a coaster that you really need to ride. It's truly underrated, and it's an incredible ride. I could honestly ride it all day if I wanted to. Alrighty guys, now we made it to number 1, and number 1 should not surprise anyone. This is going to be Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. Their 200-foot, 73-mile-per-hour B&M hyper coaster. This thing is incredible. While it's not the most intense ride out there, that airtime is truly nothing like anything else. The airtime that Mako has is just incredible. Literally, that first airtime hill, the airtime literally lasts for 5 seconds. That's crazy for a B&M Hyper, and you really just fly through those airtime hills like crazy. And plus, this thing is insanely smooth, and the fun factor is really off the charts on this coaster. And literally, just the way that's over the water is just something truly to behold. And while the trim does kind of kill the part of the ride, even though the trim's not as heavy as it was then, I still just love Mako to death. Like, this will always be one of my favorite coasters ever. And plus, that first drop is just absolutely incredible, and the theming around the plaza, like the shipwreck theming is amazing, and literally the restraints are comfortable, and just the whole ride is incredible. This is my favorite B&M Hyper coaster, period. And I've ridden 4 B&M Hypers, and this one is still my favorite, considering that I've ridden this coaster so many times. And that is why Mako at SeaWorld Orlando is my favorite roller coaster in Orlando. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more videos and more countdowns in the future. Also, don't forget to check out the social media link, which will be in the description below. I'll catch you guys next time. Have a theme-tacular day.